Who is that? Huh?
Fear the Lord, yeah, is to hate evil. Pride and arrogance, and of the evil way. I said the fear the Lord, yeah, is to hate evil. Pride and arrogance, and of the evil way. I said the fear the Lord, yeah, is to hate evil. Pride and arrogance, and of the evil way.
Shabbat shalom, y'all. Shabbat shalom. Happy Shabbat to everybody. Trying to make sure everything is set up here correctly. If you could, just get in the chat and let me know how the audio, video quality is. Before I get started, just want to make sure the sound's right and the video isn't, too choppy. So I'll just give everybody a minute just to get in there and just type in whether, or somebody, just type in whether the quality is whether it's good or bad. All is well. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So, as you can see, the title of today's from the title of today's lesson is about unity. And it's probably, of course, it's not going to be what you would, we're not going to really be going into what people typically talk about when it comes to Hebrew unity and stuff like that. What I'm be doing more of is just kind of hitting on some areas on a couple areas that hinder our unity as Hebrews. So with that said, we're going to get started on the lesson. All right. There we go. All right. Okay, so Keisha, you said all is well and sounds good, Alexa said. So, all right, appreciate that. And we're going to roll into the lesson. Well, actually, I'm sorry. and you guys bear with me. We just moved, and I feel like a rented mule. Because, I mean, we were working, and back hurt, everything hurt. So just bear with me. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna start with current events. We got some good current events that'll give everybody time to get tuned in and everything, and then we'll get into our lesson. And the first story we have out there, I want to say this is out in Seattle. Yes, it does. It is Seattle. And whoops. Okay, there we go. It says state considers third gender option on birth certificate. So now, when you have a child, you can confuse them even more. You can confuse them right out of the womb, and you can say, well, I don't want to determine whether he or she's gonna be a male or a female. I'm gonna just, call the baby a X gender or something like that. So, and apparently they already, this is already in effect in a couple other states already. I think California is one of them. So, the reason I put it in here is just a sign of the time, sign of where things are going, which is down the drain. And, but it's just good to, stay on top of stuff like that. I got a couple other news stories like that. But yeah, it's just good to, stay informed with stuff like this. Okay. All right. And the next story is why the hold on, let me
In 2004,
is why the government is creating lethal viruses. Okay? It's like, and we'll read the first paragraph here. It says the U.S. government on Tuesday lifted a ban on making lethal viruses, saying the research is necessary to develop strategies and effective countermeasures against rapidly evolving pathogens that pose a threat to public health. And I mean, and these, the rapid development of or the rapidly evolving pathogens, that's stuff that they created. You know, they're, you know, inventors of wicked things, you know. But so they lifted a ban on them, and you know, they tell you on the surface, hey, this is something that's going to help you, but we all know below the surface, you know, they're working on something where they can, you know, on viruses where they can wipe out certain populations, certain groups of people that they could care less for. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, so our next story, the Atlanta Black Star. It says, and this is a funny one, man. Black Georgia mayor cannot get the keys to his own office thanks to racist city council. So, what this is, let me see what town. It's Camilla, Georgia. Okay, and this black guy, you know, he won the race for mayor. Camilla, Georgia, I think they said it's like 80% or 70% black. And they, of course, he won the election, but they're so racist, they don't want him in there, so they're doing what they're trying to block him from getting in there. The other thing, their police force is all white. Okay, let's watch the video real quick, see what they say.
That's right, Raymond. Camilla Mayor Rufus Davis says he and the councilman-elect won't be attending city meetings until some of the alleged discriminatory acts are addressed. He says one of the main problems is a segregated cemetery. He adds that although the racial discrimination acts aren't written policies, they are practices made within the local government.
I think it is dehumanizing to them. I think that it is an embarrassment to our city.
Camilla Mayor Rufus Davis says this fence at the Oakland Cemetery is a line that divides where blacks and whites are buried.
All blacks that have ever been buried are buried there. There are no records. So if you had a relative that is buried on that side, unless someone could show you where their body is buried, you would never find out.
Many burial plots on what the mayor calls the black side aren't maintained and some even destroyed. He says blacks don't have the option to be buried on the opposite side of the fence.
Although not a written policy, it certainly is a very well-known practice.
This is one of the main reasons why he and the city councilman-elect are working hard for change.
We are engaging in a nonviolent protest by sitting out of council meetings until these injustices are addressed.
The decision to protest came after the city council approved to change the city charter.
This change will give the city manager broad and extraordinary powers. The power to appoint all city boards, all city commissions, all committees, all authorities, and the city attorney.
The mayor and city councilman-elect won't shake until change is made.
Before we will sit in a meeting, we want...
But anyway, and if you follow the whole story, they didn't even, they were trying to block him from even, I guess, getting the keys to the city or whatever it is. But this is my thing, like, hey, if they don't want you in a cemetery, like, I don't want to be buried next to you anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but it's it's just sign of the times. Everybody, when Obama got elected, everybody was like, "Oh, we're in a post-racial society, this, that, and the other." Nah, man. The when Obama got elected, the racists went into hibernation to rest for the winter, and now it's summertime and they out devouring people. So, like, don't get it twisted. Ain't nothing changed. These folks still don't like us. All right. So Trump commutes sentence of rabbi convicted for bank fraud. And he looked shiesty. And I just thought this was funny because, you saw the people Obama was commuting. He was man wrongfully accused of rape, or, this, that, and the other. But, rabbi and bank fraud go together. You know what I'm saying? You know the way these folks are. But it's just the complete total opposite, with this administration. Turn that down. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go on to the next story. And this is something to just keep an eye on. These world events. And this one is the U.S. and China are preparing for all hell to break loose in North Korea. Okay. It says here, both the U.S. and China have been taking unprecedented steps as tensions ramp up along the Korean Peninsula. China has prepared refugee camps and information for citizens to help them survive nuclear attacks, and has expanded its offensive capabilities with its force. With its Air Force. The U.S. has stepped up military drills, practiced air raids, and reportedly started preparing to seize North Korea's nuclear weapons by force. So, like I said, things are ramping up. There's... hold on, let me pause that. Yeah, things are ramping up, and there's serious talks of serious war, you know what I'm saying, everywhere you look, and, the next war, and I'm not talking about just going and bombing some country that the only weapon they have to defend themselves are some rocks. I'm talking about the next war we get into with a country that actually has a military. It's going to be ugly. It's going to escalate. So, all right. And again, with I don't think that one's going to come up. Oh, and this is another one. North Korea now testing anthrax on ICBMs. So North Korea is testing whether its missiles capable of hitting the U.S. are also capable of carrying the deadly bacteria anthrax, according to a report. So, and see, whether this is true or not, which it might be true. I mean, I'm going to tell you, with their capabilities, I don't think they would be capable of hitting the U.S., and I don't think they would try to hit the U.S. Because it'd be a long shot for them, just with the capability of their technology and with our missile defense system we have. I don't think they'd go for that. But what they do is hit our allies that are in around that area near North Korea. So they try to hit Japan, stuff like that. But like I said, we have bases over there, and we've sworn to them other countries over there, our allies, that, hey, we're going to defend you. So, it'll pop off. It could pop off and get ugly for sure. So And it's just something to keep an eye on. Again, it's like that's signs of the time. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So that concludes our current events. I see everybody getting into the chat. So, and Shabbat Shaloming and all that. So that's good. And what I'm going to do, I just close this. Wow. Put that there. Okay. So, yeah. What I'm going to do now is we're going to get ready to roll into the lesson. What we're going to do, the title of the lesson is Unity. And after the lesson, we're going to have kind of a little chat, question and answer type thing on unity. And we're going to talk a little bit about relationships and stuff like that. Just due to some questions I had this week. And some of the questions and the points that were brought up, I've heard before and from other people recently. And so we're going to get into that. So we'll do that. But what we're going to do now is get into this lesson. So our lesson is unity. And what we're going to talk about first here is the causes of disunity. Like, why do we have it? We know it's the curses. We know that that's, the main thing. But what I'm gonna do in this lesson is just bring out some mindsets and stuff like that, and that are contributing to it in this day and age. So we're going to talk about some of the causes for disunity. So what I wrote here is lack of biblical application due to brainwashing from society and Christianity. I would say this is one of the main causes of a lot of the disunity you see that we see around. And I put brainwashing in there because a lot of people are not aware of how Christianity and this society cause disunity. And it's interesting how it contributes to it. So I wrote, Christianity brainwashes people into inactivity in a number of ways. Okay? I wrote here, people support the pastor and not each other. Okay? And that is heavy. Like, because it's so widespread and it's so typical that everybody misses, goes right over everybody's head. So I got a quick video we're going to watch. All right. All right. So here we go.
Can we be real about God just for a moment? He wants you to be healed. He wants you well. He wants you prosper. Come on, say amen to this.
My name is Bishop Ron Gibson.
I'm Bishop Clarence E. McClendon.
My name is Dietrich Haddon.
I'm Wayne Chaney.
My name is Jay Hazlett.
My name is Noel Jones.
The Bible says that I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. I believe that.
P. Diddy, Jay-Z, they're not the only ones who should be driving Ferraris and living in large houses.
The Bible says that those who sow among us should reap from us. And that's implying that the preacher's to be taken care of.
I like being successful.
Security is a necessary part of what we do.
Being a pastor is very dangerous because you have to.
Okay, so we're not going to watch that whole thing, but that's a perfect example of, you know, what I'm talking about. And of course, they're chasing riches. They're envying their oppressor. I mean, I could go on and on in that quick little segment there, all the error that's going on and misquoting and all that. But the main thing is that whole church setup, the focus and the intent is the church and the pastor. And you where some confusions, yeah, she wrote, Makisha wrote, preachers thoroughly enjoying the fatness of this earth. Exactly. And the thing, one of the things, they're envying the oppressor, wanting a Bentley and all this, you know, all their worldly stuff. So they're doing so many things wrong. They're taking all the church congregations' money and they're giving it to other nations. Like whoever owns Bentley, they're sending the money that way. Whatever company built that big house, they're sending all the money that way. So they're just sending all the money out. Like he didn't form some group to build that house he has. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they're just doing so many things in so many wrong ways. And the thing is, the whole mindset is, oh, well, we're giving our money for this church we go to. And, oh, we're supporting the pastor. But it's supposed to be a win-win. It's supposed to be set up so everybody is mutually getting, you know, getting edified, getting helped, coming up as a nation. Okay? And we're going to get into it more, but what the focus needs to be is on the nation. Okay? On our people, on Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? On blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, however you want to categorize it, that's what the focus needs to be on, is building that, not on a man or a church. And then you don't get anything back, or it's not win-win. You know, this is win-lose. They win, you lose. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, and we're going to get into it more, but it's just that brainwashing is just so heavy. Okay. All right. So here's another one, just how off they are. It's like impressively off. All right. So we'll get this one going.
God has said, baby, you're just right for today. A way to give God glory. I'm breaking out of hell. Watch me. The devil is a liar. Hallelujah.
I take it to the streets. I pass out cigarettes and condoms. I do all that. But at the end of the day, when God tells me to do something, I do it.
Satan. That's Satan telling us.
About God because that's the only way I can get youth to listen, and I won't stop till the end.
I preach in tutus and high heels. This is a church where you gotta participate. I preach better when I'm me.
I'll be the voice for the people you stepped on. Revolution is the only solution that's left.
I don't only save lives, I'm in the business of saving souls.
Last time I saw you,
You was in handcuffs.
life is more than just what you've experienced.
I couldn't imagine what it's like to have gone through what you went through in your past.
My mom had to comply with whatever he wanted. I couldn't help my mom. I'm blown away.
When I came out, we did lose everything we've got. Christians hate gay people.
As hard as it is, I have to believe.
This curse stops here. It stops. You're healing broken hearts. You're healing broken hearts. to your new day. Welcome to your new hour. I am delivered, and salvation is mine.
As long as you got a pulse, God still has a plan for your life.
As hard as it is.
So, and you heard him, heard him slide that in there. Christians hate gay people. No, God hates gay people. It's in that Bible you carrying around. He calls homosexuality an abomination. Okay? So, and my whole thing is like they real slick with it. They try to slide, they're doing that show some good things, and then they sliding all that wickedness right up in there with it. So, but again, it's a disaster out there. All right, Makisha, she wrote, I don't like all of that hollering. I couldn't sit in the church with that lady pastor screaming all the time. Man, I agree. And it's like, and that's what I'm going to get into here is people go to these churches and, because that's part of what they think they're getting. They go to these churches. That's part of the fake mental ascension. You feel like you're serving something and you're getting something done because you get all hyped up and get all emotional, and then you feel like something happened, and you go back home and you just as messed up, if not worse. So yeah, it ain't if somebody up there hollering and screaming and tuning up. Pass the mic and doing all that stuff, like I automatically cut them off. Like most of the people I listen to, they just talk in a dull, monotone voice. Because the truth, you ain't got to put nothing behind the truth to get the truth out. If it's real, people going to take it. I don't care how you know what I'm saying, how you say it. All right, and Alexis wrote, I remember watching that before knowing who we are. God chosen special people. This really took me for a loop looking back at it now. Yeah, me too. Me and Corey, we watched the first one. I didn't know they had came out with a Preachers of Atlanta, but we watched Preachers of LA and we were just like, my goodness. You know what I'm saying? It was a hot mess. So let's see. Makisha wrote, yes, Sister Alexis. It is crazy how Alexis. Deep. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So, it's a hot mess. And then this video kind of goes to what Makisha was saying. Just one of the reasons our people don't unify is because they think they've been brainwashed into thinking that, hey, they're doing God's work. They're getting it done because they feel like they're doing some type of action. That's why all those people think all that hollering and screaming and acting crazy. That's why they think it's, that's God or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So let's watch this one real quick. But yeah, so anyway, but yeah, it's like my wife just said, it's emotionalism. It's just excitement, and that's what I call, I wrote it right here, mental ascension. And it's not just the dancing and all that and the excitement, but it's also a lot of the messages are just like Makisha was saying, just sitting there yelling, screaming, tuning up, talking all fancy, and you ain't saying nothing, but it'll still get your emotions up and down. Like you could say, "Hey, how you doing?" Or you could be like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, and work on people's emotions, and they feel like something's happened because they simple. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the, and you know, staying on topic with the lesson, that is one of the big hindrances from really coming together and unifying. Okay? She said they need to pass around Tylenol in the church instead of a collection plate. Yeah. They beating them drums, boy. D put, they believe that worship is God's work, so they say that the Spirit on and who can shout the best means, yep, you truly saved. Exactly. Yep. I'm telling you. That's how they feel like, exactly. That's how much truth, or that's how aligned you are with the word or whatever, you know. And it's just a whole ploy designed so the pastor could get money and everybody gets a little something. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I put here, Christianity makes people greedy in a deceptive way. It makes people feel they are fulfilling the word. Okay? So it makes them feel that, hey, I've arrived, I've ascended, I'm walking with Yah. And so, and then one of the things, you know, of course, the prosperity preachers are always pushing, prosperity preachers always put, oh, the more you got, the more God has his blessing on you. And that's a heavy deception, because then people like, all right, when I get this money, you know, I gotta go get this Bentley or whatever. And see, that's the hook, because yeah, God will let you come into money, and Satan will let you come into money. But when God brings a righteous man into money, like me, God brings me into a large sum of money, I'm gonna pay off these bills, and I'm gonna set something up. I'm gonna set up a bus service to help my people get around. I'm gonna buy a bunch of dirt cheap, you know, cars that might be $500, and I'll fix them and sell them to my people dirt cheap, not to make a profit, because hey, I didn't come. So, but somebody else would take that money and just blow it on a Bentley. Send all that money to whoever owns Bentley or whoever owns Porsche or whatever. They'd send all that money to them, to that country or nation or group of people, while your people are struggling. I got a good example of that. You know, if y'all are familiar with boxing, you got Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao. That was a big fight, one of the biggest fights lately. And it was a lot of money made in that by both sides. Pacquiao is from, Debrew, you know where he's from. I think the Philippines. Let me know if I'm right. But anyway, Pacquiao, after he won the fight, he went to the Philippines and took a whole chunk of his money and built houses for the poor people there. And they got a picture of it. It's like a line of like these houses. It houses multiple people, and he built like a whole ton of them. And then they show Mayweather, and what does he do? Get a bunch of black strippers, get all the money in cash, throw it on his bed, take pictures of him laying in the bed with all the money, buying Bentleys, buying this, that, and the other, while our people just get knocked upside the head and destroyed out here in this wicked beast system. It's like I've gotten to the point where I just, like, I hate Bentleys. Like, why I want a Bentley anyway? Like, I got a Toyota Tacoma, and that junk very comfortable. I don't need nothing extra. You know, it's like I just detest more and more stuff from these other nations, you know, especially when I see the condition our people are in. So, but yeah, that's that deception. It's that heavy deception. So, and they just justify worldly wickedness basically in a subtle way. It's very deceptive. Okay. All right. Now, this is another dimension of the deception. I wrote one of the biggest deceptions is the word love. So the way the world and Christianity describes that word love, it throws people off. Like, to be honest, this is the biggest part of that church deception. And it might be the biggest part of the whole deception because people got, well, let's look at the definition. It says love, an intense feeling of deep affection. Babies feel parents with intense feelings of love. Okay, deep affection, fondness, okay? And then here's another definition. A person or thing that one loves. She was the love of his life. Okay, and this is the world's emotional... This was, go ahead, go to your room. This is the world's emotional definition of love, okay? And when you think of the Christian church, it's like, oh, we come together in love, and they talk about love and kisses and, you know, all that gay stuff and all that stuff like that, and softness and love and be nice and all that stuff. And it's real, it's ever so subtle, because you should, you know, show affection and stuff like that. But number one, where we have to start at is the definition is off. Okay? The definition of love is off. Okay? So let's define it properly. I think I have it up here next. Let's see. So here we go. We got 2 John chapter 6. 2 John chapter 6. I didn't put the verse up there though. So if somebody could just put what verse it is. Corey, if you could pull that up. It's 2 John chapter 6. Okay. And just see what verse it is, because I left the verse out. And I'll read. I'm gonna go ahead and read it, and then if Corey finds it, if one of y'all find it, just type it in there and let me know. 2 John chapter 6, and this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye should walk in it. Okay. And Debrew, he put in there. He said, the way of the world is opposite of the way of Yah. Yep. Devil equal deceit or adversaries of the word. Yep. It's the opposite. It's like, and the problem with that church is so smooth and subtle. They're just smooth and subtly off. So people are just deceived. What verse is it? It's 2 John chapter 6. Just so they know, so I can say it on here. And we'll read.
That is it.
Yeah, which verse though?
2 John chapter 6.
Verse what?
There is no verse. That's right here. 2 John chapter 6. That's the verse. And this is love that we
Yeah, what verse though? You see? Where are you at? Yeah, it's verse 5. Wait, and now where you see it at? Point to it. I don't.
It's 2 John.
Yeah,
Chapter 6, and this is love that we walk out in His commandments. Right here.
Oh, okay.
It is 6. You got it up there.
Oh.
Verse 6. There's.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cause John only got one. All right, so I had it right. Okay, so and now we're gonna read 1 John chapter 5 verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous. They're not burdensome. His commandments prevent you from, giving all your money to a pimp preacher. You know what I'm saying? His commandments protect you. His commandments help you come together as a nation and help take the burden off your brother and off your back. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so now society. So now we talked about the how Christianity brainwashes you. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Brother Adonai, because he put in there too. We talked about how Christianity brainwashes you. Then I mentioned how society brainwashes you. And it all kind of ties in. It says, now society brainwashes us with the belief that everything will turn out fine. Okay? And somebody wrote, let's see. All right, Makisha wrote, yes, love is correction, structure, order, and respect, which Yah gives us those things, and often we displease Him in so many ways. Exactly. That's what we're going to kind of go towards that. But that's the big misunderstanding is love is, you saw this definition I had up here. It is sugar, spice, and everything nice. That's the worldly definition of love, okay? But the biblical definition is, love can be yelling at somebody. Love can be whooping some kids. You know what I'm saying? Love is discipline. It's His word. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they get twisted up. That's where a lot of this manipulation comes in with this, oh, it's all good. You're fine the way you are. You shouldn't experience any, you should always feel good. That's kind of the brainwashing we get. Nobody wants to put ripples in the water. So now for the society part of brainwashing, I wrote, now society brainwashes us with the belief that everything will turn out fine. Fairy and Disney's one of the main ones who starts it off at an early age. Fairy tale endings, where, hey, it's just, if you just, it'll be all right. Just trust in Jesus. It'll be all right. That's what they tell you in the church, But you'll see I got the scripture in there later. It says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You got to get out there and do something. Stuff don't just happen. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're saying stuff in your mind and feeling a certain way about the Bible in your mind, we're going to get into all the scriptures where it says, where it requires you, faith without works is dead. There's a bunch of scriptures like that. All right, Brother Adonai, he put in Hebrew.
Love equals treat each other according to the Torah.
So there you go. That's heavy. So that's love. What's the worldly definition of love when it comes to a relationship and stuff like that is, oh, just feeling nice and good to everybody. It's like, what's that? So when I don't feel all nice and good and bubbly about you, so now I don't have love for you anymore. You see, it's just confusion. And we're gonna get into this real deep when it comes to unity, because I'm gonna bring out some heavy stuff here pretty soon. So, all right. I wrote here, they say things to comfort and coddle people like everything will turn out fine. This is a very disarming statement. I did a video on this. I don't even know if I released it, but I'll be releasing it soon. I've just been so busy, but it's a video. It's titled Disarming Doctrines of a Feminized Society. And just think about that title real slow. Disarming doctrines. They disarm you and take the fight out of you in this feminized society. And what happens is, because you get disarmed, circumstances end up coming upon you and they end up messing your life up. And nobody's sitting there yelling at you, telling you, get up, fight, run, do what you need to, get out of there, Like an analogy I use is there's a person standing on the train tracks and a train's coming towards them. And they think that train is light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a train coming and it's going to kill them. And the church is, oh, it's all love, brother. You can do what you want. And it's all love. And that probably is light at the end of the tunnel and love and all that and kisses and all this stuff. And then I'm over there cursing at him. Man, get your butt off the track. Move, it's a train. And then I hit him with a block tackle and knock him off the track. And the Christian church is over there. Well, that's not love, brother. That's not love. You shouldn't talk like that. You shouldn't assault people, And that's a good analogy about how jacked up things are. It's like these doctrines and this stuff these churches put out and this society puts out is evil, it's wicked, and it's designed to get you hurt. It is like Debrew said earlier in his comment, it's Satan. Satan's behind all that. And it says he's a deceiver. Okay? So, all right, so we're going to go to Matthew chapter 22, verse 36, and I'm going to read it all the way out to verse 39. All right. So it came to him, he says, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. And then he throws in there, he says, this is the first and great commandment. So if you love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, you're going to just seek him out, seek, and you're going to fulfill everything else because you're going to want to keep the rest of his. You're going to find out, hey, he wants me to do all this other stuff. You're going to do that. All right. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay. And like Brother Adonai, who said earlier, he said, Hebrew love equals treat each other according to the Torah. Okay. Sometimes that loving your brother is when your brother is a fool, you just distance yourself from him. You leave him alone. Sometimes that loving your brother is rebuking him or you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to say loving your brother isn't hugs, kisses, and soft Christian-y stuff with flowers. That is not what love is. Love is like Brother Adonai says, Torah. Treating them according to that. Okay? So, all right, so now we're going to go to Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. And I said this earlier. It says, I go to these scriptures all the time because it's like like if you look at a lot of my videos and a lot of what I've been teaching, I'm teaching really about this one thing, and I'm coming at it from all these different angles because it's so widespread. So I'm just trying to hit on it from a bunch of different angles because I don't feel like we need to move to, or I need to move to anything else to be teaching on, because I feel like that's a level up, and people will won't be getting help on the level where they're at. So I just kind of try to point out the same thing from different angles. Okay, so Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. Okay, we talked about that earlier. He strengthens you to what? To do something. Okay, it's not Christ can do all things who strengthens me. No, it's he's going to strengthen you to do what you need to do. But you're going to do something. And seeing we've been put to sleep. And I'm going to show you how, as we get further in this lesson, how we've been kind of subtly and deceptively put to sleep and led off the path of coming together as a nation and really walking out Torah the way it's logically and practically set up for us to do. Okay, and then the next verse I have is Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be open unto you. Okay, and of course, you know, if I'm sure if we watch preachers of Atlanta or LA or whatever, I'm sure them rich dudes will be quoting that and gassing the people up like, okay, come on, Jesus, Bentley, I need a Bentley and some gold. Come on, Jesus, come on. And if they pray hard enough, they will get that Bentley. But it wasn't Jesus who gave you that Bentley, that was Satan. Because that's not, you know, it ain't book. But if you seeking God and you praying for something that's in line with his word, like, Lord, give me a bigger garage so I can start fixing these people's cars, so to begin helping our people out and stuff like that, he gonna give you that. You know what I'm saying? But if it ain't in accordance with his word and it's just carnal desires of your heart, you ain't, you know, Satan will give that to you if you pray to him hard enough. Rihanna said that, right? Y'all seen that that interview where Rihanna said, if God doesn't give it to you, try Satan. And I mean, we've been known she was in all types of weird stuff. All right. So now we're going to get into the solution. And I put building a nation is work. So us coming together in accordance with this word, like that dried bones analogy where he said, can these bones live and stuff like that. It's like when you read this book and study it, stuff don't just happen. You know what I'm saying? Look at King David. He stepped out there and made stuff happen in accordance with the word. You know what I'm saying? But it don't just happen. Okay? Action. It's about action. But I put building a nation is work. Okay? Joining a social club is pleasure. And these Christian churches, that's what they're like. They're like social clubs. Okay? Let me check something real quick. Okay. But yeah, these Christian churches, that's what they're like. They're like social clubs. Okay? It's like somewhere you go to party or whatever, or just to chit chat and blah, blah, blah. But nation building is work. And when I say work, I'm talking about work like, hey, you go to a job and your job is digging ditches or whatever your job is, office job. But it's that same mindset with this word of God. Okay? And I'm going to show you that. Okay? So let's see. And then relationships take work. Okay. And I put some pictures up here. This is what everybody, you know, you get married and or whatever, the Disney, this how they tell you it's gonna be, you know, roses and kissing and ooh wee, you know what I'm saying? But this is part of relationships also, right here, okay? This is part of relationships, and this is part. But the thing is, folks don't want to put in the work. You know, as soon as it moves from all this to the tough stuff in the relationships, as soon as it moves into that, folks don't want to put in the work. So they really didn't want it in the first place. Oh, I didn't think it was going to be this terrible, you know. So people don't really want to make it work. And I use relationships as a model because it's just a good example of this, but it also comes to come together as a nation, come together with our people, getting your mind right so you could progress to getting in a relationship or building a nation and all that. It's all work. You know, these are the works they talking about. This is the tough part of life that nobody, you know, the churches and society and Disney World, they're telling you, oh, it should never be like this. You should never have all this. It should just be this over here, right here. It should just be that. That's what society tells you. I'm telling you, you need to be ready for this and be aware that this is part of life, part of relationships, part of, you know, part of building, part of coming together as a relationship, coming together as a nation, you know. And like I said, relationships is just one part of it, but another part of it might be your job, wherever you work at. Like, it, you know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of different areas, you know, where this is applicable. Okay, Brother Adnahu put, a father disciplines the son he loves. Exactly.
So that you won't be a bastard.
So you won't be a hot mess. Yeah, I agree. So, and then Makisha wrote, is it true that if you're single now, you won't be able to marry in the kingdom because we will be married to the Messiah? Genuinely asking for understanding. Thanks. Brother Adonai would have to answer you on that, but what I can tell you is when we get in the kingdom, it's like we're not gonna, like, that's gonna be you ain't gonna be worrying about all that. You know what I'm saying? But and so and what else we say? Yeah, but yeah, when you're in the kingdom, you're not going to be worrying about, you know, all that. And I'll be honest with you, when, like, as you get deep into this word, and when I say start getting deeper in this word, when you get, I'm not talking about a complicated deep. I'm talking about when you get a good practical understanding of the word, and then you begin to apply the word, you'll kind of begin to understand all that stuff on a better level. But I think as far as specifically answering that, Brother Adnahu, he could answer that one real good. All right. So yeah. So what I have here is Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 11 through 12. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? It says, and if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken. And see, the significance of these verses here is like they're showing you that coming together is like it involves work almost. it's kind of showing you the benefits of working together as a team. And the church doesn't do that. The church shows you, and the society shows you the benefits of making the society rich. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see what we got here.
Makisha and Adanyahu are having a discussion.
Okay. Well, she was writing. I was just wondering, as it pertains to multiplying for generations, but maybe I am missing a few pieces. I was raised in Torah and Old Testament strictly, so New Testament is not as familiar to me. And Brother Adnahu put, no, we have been married to Messiah since Mount Sinai. Okay. All right, so I got Ecclesiasticus 16 verse 12. And it says, as his mercy is great, so is his correction also. He judgeth a man according to his works. Okay? It doesn't say he judgeth a man according to his Bible knowledge, or he judges a man according to how well he can recall scriptures, or he judges a man according to how well he prays breaks, or whatever like that. It says his works, application of this word. I've been saying that, and people are like I'm gonna try to put my finger right on it because it's not clicking. It's not clicking. So it says these other nations are an example of how to work together. Okay, so the other nations are an example of how to work together as a nation, and they wicked. Even Satan works together. Even the demons, Satan has an empire with rank structure and all of that. So if Satan works together, then it's not about being a social club and feely good and, oh, we just got to be bubbly and give hugs and kisses and all that crap. It's not about that. It's about the mission. And what's the mission? It's Torah. He wants us to come together and unite. You see what I'm saying? Because, look, Satan has rank, structure, order, and they got jobs, and they working together, and they wicked, evil, destroying us, deceiving us. But they still have to keep Yah's laws. You know what I'm saying? All right. So how do we work together? Okay. And now we're going to get into the meat of this thing. Okay, so now we're going to get into the meat. So let's look at this picture right here. You got one guy, he's carrying the load. You got the woman on the end there. She's if she wasn't there, the light bulb would fall on the ground. And then the guy in front on the stairs, he's steadying it. So the way we need to approach coming together as a nation and unifying, a lot of people want to approach it from, hey, let's just gather together and hang out and be friends and have fun. But was that how Israel, was that the way we were back in the day? Did every single Israelite come over to one person's house and have a big, huge cookout because all of them were besties? You know what I'm saying? No, that's not the way it was. Certain people would hang with certain other people and be close friends. And this, I know Brother Adnahu could put some of those verses in there about a friend, like a close friend. I think it's in the Old Testament, but it just talks about how a close friend is. That takes time. That takes time to Yeah, Corey said you have to prove a friend, you know. And if y'all could put some verses in there about friends, if any of y'all know any good ones, because what I'm saying is that takes time. And look, then that's something cause I ain't gonna sit here and act like I done arrived and I know everything. I'm learning. I just really learned that in a, you know, because I tend to rush with stuff and jump into stuff, and you know, that's not right. And there's verses that say, hey, take your time getting to know people. You know, it talks about, you know, you guys throw some verses in there about that. But that's not what come together as a nation is. But I feel like that's a main focus of a lot of groups and what people are doing. And they're kind of mimicking the Christian church. When the real focus is like right here. Say I was that guy who's standing up on the stairs there, steadying that light bulb. Well, the mindset you need to have is if you walk up and you see those people trying to carry that light bulb, and I'm the last guy, I'm like, hey, that thing needs to be steady. Boom, I'm gonna run up, I'm gonna run up there and steady that light bulb. I'm not gonna be like, well, why? I want to be the guy holding it up, or, you know. The Bible says, watch the ants, thou sluggard. Like, a lot of people need to do that, man. Go out there and watch this. Sit out there next Shabbat. Just go out there, lay on the ground with a blanket, and just watch ants. People gonna think you're weird, but just do it. You know what I'm saying? But because the ants, they get it in. You know what I'm saying? The ants, like, they move a big old chip. Like that potato chip weighed more than my car to them, man. And they get it in. Yes. They get it in. Together, right? You can't eat, like us Hebrews, man. You can't even. I ain't even gonna get into it, boy. It's so sad with us, you know, as a nation. You know, we so fractured. All right, hold on. Let me read what y'all have written up here. Okay. Okay, Brother Anahu, that's why we get punished when we break the marriage covenant, but not other nations. Okay. And then Makisha put, thanks you so much, Brother Anahu, for clarification. I appreciate it. Okay. Good job. All right. So now, so this picture right here, some of the things I'm pointing out is, like, even me looking at this picture right now, well, if I walked up on this situation and those three were there working with that, I'm going to be like, well, you know what? I'm going to get behind that dude who got the light bulb on his back and help him carry that load. I could do that. I can do that because I got strong legs and a strong back. So that's what I could do. You know, maybe that guy up there steadying it was like, man, I got strong arms. So, hey, I'm going to get up here and I'm going to steady that because I fit in, you know, get in where you fit in. Look for how you could contribute to the nation. Okay. So, and not money. It ain't about money. You know what I'm saying? If you some millionaire, then yeah, break it off. But if you like me and everybody else and you ain't well off, then that's not where you fit in at. So don't be trying to give all your money away and put yourself in a bad financial situation. You got a way to help this nation. And this nation ain't me. It's your people. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, all right. So again, this is another little example of, all right, let's take, for instance, of course, they got the black guy way down here at the bottom, you know, but where you got, yeah, on his back, getting ready to get crushed, carrying the bulk of the load, but that's not why I put this up here. What if each person's doing their job, and look, they're holding the this arrow thing up, so it's going in the direction it needs to go to, but and each person's doing their job to make the thing happen. But if this person talks about, well, I don't want to be here, I want to be over here, then the thing's going to fall. You see what I'm saying? So it's just another kind of example I was trying to show of, hey, see where the help needs to be. Like if I came out here, I'll probably go help this brother out because he looked like he's struggling the worst. Or this lady right here, she looked like she's struggling. You know what I'm saying? So I might go help one of them out. You see what I'm saying? And just begin thinking, hey, what do we need to do? But I'm going to get into this a little more because I don't think I explained that good. All right. So we got Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And I wrote, people do this for their money and for their careers, but they don't do it for their people and for this nation and for us unifying and coming together. They don't do that. I mean, they go all out for that job, though. They will be to work on time every day or 5-10 minutes early. They won't call in sick. They'll be consistent, responsible, diligent with this job. But then it come to the word, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? It come to helping our people out, forget about it. Well, I'm transitioning to treating my job the way I used to treat the word. Like, hey, if something's more priority and it's concerning our people, I'm going to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I just call in sick, you know, and but I'm going to do it and I'm going to keep the money coming in and all that stuff. Just a good balance to that, you know, but I'm not going to be one of these people who I'm not going to be at work working all this overtime and this, that, and the other. And let me say that the right way, because I don't want to throw nobody off. You might need to work overtime to get the bills paid and stuff like that. So I'm not saying it like that. But what I'm talking about are people, I've known people who put their whole life and everything they got into their job at the detriment of their family and their kids and everything else. At the expense, of their kids and everything else. So I've seen that, you know. So that's what I'm saying. You know, I know folks got to work and you got to get it in because we in this oppression and you got to be out in the field picking cotton for massa because I do it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, do it because you gotta. Don't make a religion out of it, because that's a religion. Career can be a religion. Okay? All right. And we're going to get more into career in a little while. So, okay. So what I put here is, what is your part in the body? How do you fit in? Okay? And that's what this whole lesson is about, is making people realize, look, it's not just about sitting back reading scriptures. It's about being a part on this body, not a tumor, you know, being a part on the body, a functional part on the body and on the body of Christ. And when I say a functional body, what I did is I put an example of what I've come to realize just about myself and my purpose in the body. So this is what I typed up. Okay. Just for example, you know, so here we go. It says, my stated purpose is to help the body economically through auto repair and to help the body spiritually through biblical relationship teachings and education in relationships. Just because that's where I have my experience at. And as far as with the auto repair thing, like I'd like to fix up some cars for real. Like what I do now, I gotta, cause we just moved in this new house, thank God, and it got a big garage. And we prayed over this house already, and we dedicate this house to doing this stated purpose. I got like tomorrow, this week coming up, there'll be like 8 or more cars begin to pull up in here of brothers I know, you know, from work and stuff like that, some Hebrew brothers and stuff like that, that I'm gonna fix as cheap as I can without, you know, hurting myself. I'm gonna make a little profit, but they're not gonna get abused by these other nations. And in me doing that, the money's coming into staying in our nation. And then also down the road, if God blesses me with more money and stuff like that, I want to buy, like I said earlier, cheap cars, fix them up, and sell them to people real cheap. You know what I'm saying? But that's down the road. With the relationship things, if you go on a YouTube channel, you see, you know, the videos, you know, just because, hey, I've studied it. I got a little experience in that area. So that I feel that that's where God is using me at. That's where I feel my strengths are comfortably at. So, and these are just 2 things. There's a couple other things, but I didn't put all that in there. Now, for my wife, you know, I talked to her because my wife does a lot of sewing and home stuff. And she actually has her stated purpose because what's that called? Proverbs 31? Design 31. She has Design 31, which is like her kind of store or whatever you want to call it, where all her work is. But she already had her, I guess, business plan or whatever you want to call it, her statement. She already had hers. I just simplified it here. And I wrote, my wife's stated purpose is to help women become Proverbs 31 women economically and spiritually. And economically by learning, you'll see a whole bunch here soon, but she does sewing videos on basic sewing. She does sewing classes to teach women how to sew. She's gonna be doing cooking videos and just showing women how to run a household. Industrious. And she just said how to be industrious. And then she said spiritually, just how to be a woman of Yah, how to support your husband. And look, with buying this house and boy, this year we've been through, because it, you know, maybe next Shabbat I'll do a video just talking about the trials, especially this year here. It's something you could make a movie out of. But we've had a lot of stuff happen to our kid, you know, health issues with our kids, and just it's been a tough year. But we ain't been depressed. We've been excited all year, just about moving forward in Yah, and not in some not just in some superficial way, in a practical way. And I think we're gonna go into that maybe next Shabbat. Right. But back to what I'm talking about. So spiritually, she can help women, just show women, be an example to women of this is how you run a household. This is how you deal with a husband, you know, just by her example. And, you know, you can watch her videos and stuff like that. And she'll show you. Makisha put, Sister Koya, is it an online store? How could we support? So Makisha, I have Koya friend you because she's in the group too. And you'll see all the stuff she puts out, you know, and she'll get with you on that. But, so yeah, so that's her stated purpose. And we ain't bragging about, oh, we do this, we do that. I'm trying to show you, you need to begin, and I think that's the next slide. Yeah. We must learn to spot needs in our nation or among our people and fill them in spiritually and economically. So we got to spot the needs of our nation and fill them in spiritually and economically. Something that you do. Like, I'm not saying, I know Makisha ain't no auto mechanic, even though that we need auto mechanics, but that ain't her calling. I'm pretty sure it better not be. You know what I'm saying? Brother Adanahu, like, I know his need, you know, he probably ain't a good sewing. He shouldn't be in the sowing. I wouldn't be rocking with him. So figure out, hey, where are you blessed in? I could tell you, like Brother Adonai, when it comes to his Bible knowledge, and not just knowing the Bible, but being able to explain it to like somebody like me with ADD, and I get it 100%. Like he's skilled in that area, and articulating stuff because he has a good vocabulary. I don't. Sometimes I ask him, "Hey man, how would I say this?" And he'd be like, "Blah blah blah," and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So see where you're talented at, spiritually and economically. I say Debrew, same thing. He can articulate. He's giving me advice on things, and we see a lot of spiritual stuff and see a lot of stuff the same way when it comes to dealing with people and stuff like that. So I see talent in everybody, but like I wrote here, we must resist buying into what society brainwashes us with. Okay, we got to resist that because it puts us to sleep, and you don't realize that you need to be using that gift to help our people. And in doing that, like me doing auto repair, I'm going to make money doing it, but I'm not going to crucify them with labor charges. I'm going to charge a decent labor charge where, hey, I'm going to put a little money in my pocket, but the same note, it'll be affordable to them. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like you're just giving yourself away like these Christian pastors want you to do. Giving all your money away and you're getting no return on it and you're getting broker. Like pastor, like, and the black community ain't broke. Like Creflo Dollar raised over 60 million in a little over a month to get an airplane. So he could fly over people at the bus stop, you know, in his airplane that they bought. You see what I'm saying? So the money's there economically, spiritually. Same note, everybody got stuff to contribute. Like while I might be highly educated in relationships, Brother Adonai, I asked him some questions concerning dealing with other people where I'm not very experienced in, and he had phenomenal advice in that. So everybody has this, you know what I'm saying? It's just cultivate it, realize what it is, and apply it. Application, you know what I'm saying? All right, so let's see. So it says we need consistency, reliability, accountability, this is a big one, dependability, and clarity. Now, when it comes with me, like when I'm doing stuff with cars, I make sure I'm there on time. If I say I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be there. And what's happened is in a short period of time, my name's getting circulated around, and I'm working on, like, I've worked on people's cars from other nations. You know, I charge them a decent amount, you know what I'm saying? But you make a name for yourself also. And Brother Adonai was telling me how, I forget, I'm not sure what story it was, but he was just telling me about our reputation back when we were a nation and when we were keeping Torah. Other nations would prefer doing business with us rather than anybody else because they knew we were people of our word. We keep our word. They knew they could count on us. They knew it was going to be quality. They knew it was going to, it was going to be done right. They weren't going to be taken advantage of because they knew the standard we were keeping. It ain't like that now. Like, black folks don't want to do business with black folks. You know what I'm saying? It won't get done. And you see what I'm saying? So we got to come back to who we are. Brother Adonai put Proverbs 17:17, a friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Okay? So yeah, and that's from earlier where I asked, all right. So again, that consistency, be consistent. This is talking about like being diligent. If your word is bond, like it's solid, and where it's like you got to see the payoff, and if you're really studying this word, and like, because that's my thing, you got a lot of people just teaching this word and they ain't doing nothing, and they claim, oh yeah, I'm in the word, but you don't see no works, you don't see any of this. They're not, an asset to the body. They're poop. There's something the body needs to get rid of, So, all right. In order to unify everybody's to be first have a character where they're honest with themselves. Okay, typo. Honest with themselves, and then they can be honest with everybody else. So, and again, this is what I teach on a lot. You character development. You have to get your mind right. You got to be honest with yourself and where your weaknesses is, where your strengths are, what you need to change about yourself and all that before you can get into a relationship, whether it be like a relationship or just building as a nation and all that. You got to get your mind right first, because that having your mind right, if you don't have your mind right, you're not going to be able to display these qualities spiritually or economically. You're not going to have consistency, reliability, accountability, dependability, and clarity. You're not going to have that if you ain't got your mind right, okay? So what we have next, Matthew chapter 9, verse 36, it says, but when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them. And look, man, brothers and sisters, talk to our people, drive through some of these bad neighborhoods, man, and tell me you don't feel like this. It says, because, and this is kind of an analogy the way this reads, but it says, he was moved to compassion on them because they fainted. This is what you see among our community now, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. You see what I'm saying? That's how our people are now. Then saith he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Okay? You got a lot of people talking this word. You could go deep into the Hebrew Israelite community and you just see people talking, but they ain't really harvesting nothing. Okay? Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Okay? So we are the laborers. We gotta, and again, labor, work. You gotta put in work. Them disciples Jesus chose were all working. They were fishing, taxes, they had jobs. They were putting it in. It's work. It's not mental ascension, okay? So, all right. So, yeah. So, that is what brings unity. That is what is going to unify people. Is you can't just sit there, just be talking, meeting up, quoting scripture back and forth. Okay, see you next week. We got to actually be doing something. We are taking the burden off. And then it gets so burdensome in this thing that you can't even focus on the word, because now the burdens are so heavy. Now you're having a hard time focusing, whether it's relationship issues or marriage issues or dealing with people at your job issues or financial issues. All that is we are called to take all those off of each other. So, like for me, like now I'm in this house, I'm taking in anybody I can, you know, when it comes to working on cars. But you look at it, one of the main, you know, I seen that as a big problem is, yo, a lot of people's having car trouble. You know what I'm saying? My wife, one of the big areas she is getting ready to smash into is hair. Because she done got real good at doing these twists, which is a, what's that? A protective, it's called flat twist, but it's a protective hairstyle. And sister locks, but it protects women's hair. And you look at the average woman who's about 30 or whatever years old, they bald. Or they hairline back here. Because, again, that is a huge, you know, and she has no intent in, it ain't a money thing with her. She be feeling hurt when she sees some of these women. You know? So it's that mindset where, you know, we're going through the motions here. We just talking. No, let's do something. And then spiritually, you know, that whole thing. Okay? So, but yeah, now that concludes the lesson on unity. So now what we're going to get into is we're going to talk about relationships, because I've had, you know, again, I've seen, you know, you see something going on. I'm seeing like a pattern, and I realize with relationships is, let me tell you, and like I said, this this relationship discussion we're gonna have, everybody contribute, get involved, ask questions, whatever. We're gonna try to get some understanding on that. But with these relationships, I understand, because me and my wife, she wasn't in the truth, I wasn't in the truth when we met. But when you're in the truth, when you first of all, when you just in Christianity, that eliminates a lot of people from you being able to talk to them. But then when you come, you step all the way into, you're a Hebrew Israelite, you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, you just weeded out so many people. And a lot of people feel hopeless because, look, it's like, I'm a Hebrew Israelite in a world of, you know, people I can't talk to. They feel very, very limited, and that there's really no abundance. And I can only imagine, because I'm be honest, just me being like when I was single, you're limited then too, because majority of the black women I rolled that I would meet were just ghetto and had attitudes and were just a mess. So I can imagine that now I become a Hebrew Israelite, it's going to get real limited. And then for a woman, you get your mind right, you get a career established and all that. Most dudes is bums. This there was a guy I was working with, you know, because I'm an aircraft mechanic, and there was another mechanic I was working with, and he was just telling me how he met this, because he's an aircraft mechanic for years, and he was just telling me how he met this woman, and she had a job making way more than he made, but she was like so excited about him because she was like, all the dudes I dated either lived with their mother or didn't have a job or, you know, were in and out of jail into something bad, or a combination of one of those three or all of them. You know what I'm saying? So I understand, like, when you get into this thing, it's like you might feel very overwhelmed and limited on your options. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna show you how you need to be viewing that. Hold on, let me get this set up. And like I said, if y'all have any questions, you know, or comments or statements you want to make, you know, put them in there, because this is kind of, we're going to do like a discussion and we can discuss topics. So.
Now, Michael, when you say that we wasn't in the truth when we met,
Mm-hmm.
you're saying that we were, you could call us Christians, basically.
Yeah, but we and we were
Israelite truth.
We weren't in the Israelite truth, and we really weren't even hardcore Christians, really, you know,
right,
with a lot of stuff. Okay. But you know, it's like you have more options, or people you feel you got, like the way we were, we had more options than somebody really walking in the truth or would feel. But let me tell you this also. One of the things I say, out of 100 people, 10 of them will be worth talking to. And out of those 10, 1 or 2 are worth getting in a relationship with. Okay? So let me, one very good thing is being in this truth does a lot of the work for you, because there's worse things than being lonely. You look at all the suicides, you look at the people in prison, you look at the people who've ruined their lives choosing the wrong person. So before we get into everything, know that. Right. Okay, there's worse things than being alone. Okay, so Makisha put, for women that are virgins in the world, many men in the late 20s, early 30s want women that are already experienced and will shack up with no commitment. Exactly. But you just eliminated, know that. That's good, because that eliminates all those men. Look, and I'm telling you as a man, most men are bums. Like at my job, out of all them dudes, like some of the stuff I hear them say, they're bad relationship material. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even put them on my enemy. Okay? So, but as far as men want women who are experienced, no. Like, let me just talk about, look, most dudes just want something, you know, some warm puss. That's it. They don't, like, look, hey, I'll do this. This is going to be in the technology video I'm going to do. Look, they selling dolls out of China or whatever. Dolls that look like real women, and they selling like hotcakes, and them dolls don't move. Like, these dudes have so little game that they can't get a woman. Like, they got a video on it. So, yeah, men want some a freak show. Like, dudes, now I know dudes like that who they literally want hoes. Right. Like, and then, but
because they're not ready for commitment. Right.
Well, yeah, and they
it's popular because of the culture.
And a lot of dudes are brainwashed into thinking sex is what it's about, because they're so brainwashed and they don't think anything else could be, you know, could be above that. No, yeah, she put sex already physically experienced. That's what I mean. No, that ain't the case. No, you, like I said, hoe ass niggas. That's what they want. You know what I'm saying? But
a real man of Yah.
But
desires.
A man of Yah, yeah, he wants a woman for her. Exactly. And like for me, coming from, like, and what I'm gonna try to do, because it's a lot to talk on, but it's like when you begin talking to men and stuff like that, just like me, when I began meeting women and talking to women and studying about all this, there was a model that I had. You'll begin to develop a model to where you can spot a dude who could be good material. You know what I'm saying? Because my wife will tell you, she called me mean and say and this, that, and other. But at my core, I'm soft as heck and everything. But I'm on the surface and when in certain.
I don't call you mean. I call you firm.
Well, firm or whatever.
The girls call you mean, but I don't call. I'm not. I call you firm.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I've made myself hardcore emotionally, you know, but at my core, you know, I'm a sensitive guy, and you'll see that, like, cause I'll do another video where, cause you need to, you know, I talk about you gotta be efficient with your time when you're dealing with these dudes, and you gotta understand them, understand how they work, and like, cause what your statement you put up there, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, you need to be careful, because when dudes find out you're a virgin, they're like, oh, yeah. Oh really? You are?
Or do
you know?
anything, my Keisha.
Yeah.
Right.
But the thing is when a real player dude, a lot of player dudes, they don't want a virgin because they know you're going to be attached to them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm going to show you, and I'm going to make it a priority, is I'm going to do a video so you can begin to quickly spot where somebody's coming from.
I think you've got dozens of videos out there like that already.
Well, I'm going to make one for, now the ones I have are for men peeping out women.
Well,
and
put some verses out there too.
That's
chat room, you know.
that's what I've learned is just being able, like for me, I could spot a bad woman back in the day. I could spot a bad woman within the first couple seconds, and then if they looked approachable, boom, I come up to them and I'll talk to them, and just talking to them for a couple seconds, I could just weed them out real fast, you know. But yeah, let me see. All right. Okay, so she wrote, also being worldly educated, many people try to convince me to marry out, but I'm firm in my faith and only want someone that looks like me and knows Yah. Exactly. A like-minded person. And look, and I'm going to just be, you know, stick to that. I mean, because you're supposed to want your own. I mean, if something happens and some white dude comes in our group and he on fire for Yah and all that, and we know he in the truth, I wouldn't say, oh, well, you can't talk to him. It's not like that. But, yeah, like-minded people. Right. I'm aware that some men are enticed by the title, but I would not have gotten this far either without faith in Yah and sticking to principles. The title of what? I've watched many. Okay. So, and then this is the thing, like for me, back when I was single, and I talked about this in another video, I was living in Middle Georgia in some rural area, you know. So let's make this analogy. If you lived out in Nebraska on a farm, just you and your family, and the local, you know, Bobby Joe's whatever store is the only thing you got near you, you might never meet anybody. But if you live in New York and you're around all these Afrocentristic, Hebrew Israelite, this, that, and the other camps, it's only a matter of time. So let's take it back to me. So when I was living here in Georgia, when I was living in Georgia, I studied all this stuff about relationships and reading all this stuff, and according to stuff I was studying, I'm supposed to be meeting all these women and all that. And I was, you know what I'm saying, maybe every couple of months I meet somebody different and this, that, and the other. But then I realized, oh, I need to get around more people. I moved to Jacksonville, and 6 months later, I met my wife. You know what I'm saying? And that is something I want to say is to, next to Yah, getting in a relationship with somebody you can know and love is the most important thing. Right. A lot of people put family and career over that. And what do? They just stay put. Right. You know, I moved. Like when I moved down here to Jacksonville, it was completely by myself. You know what I'm saying? Stepping out. And I had no problem with it because I know it says God said it's not good for man to be alone. He didn't design us to be by ourselves. Okay? Even Paul was rolling with a bunch of Hebrews and stuff like that. And when I say it was important to me because at that time I wasn't in the truth. I put my whole heart, mind, and soul into that, into meeting that next woman and then developing myself into the person to meet that woman, into researching Jacksonville and applying for jobs. Everything was focused on that. I kind of said something similar to that earlier is Disney tells you Mr. Right's going to ride up on a horse and he's going to come up and he's going to say, hop on the horse and all that. Like a lot of dudes think that. And I'm going to tell you, no, that ain't what's going to happen. If you sit around waiting, Mr. Wrong's going to come along or nobody's going to come. If you don't get out, put in the work and become proactive as much as you can, Mr. Wrong will come along and you'll be another statistical story out there. No, what you got to do is like what I would do if now this is me as a man though. Now, if I was single and I'm in the Hebrew Israelite truth, I'd probably move up to New York, take a pay cut, whatever, or start visiting New York, start going to Hebrew Israelite events, other places, and doing all types of stuff like that. You know, anything I could get to get myself out there as a Hebrew Israelite, whether it be social media or going to these events to meet the people in person and then talk to them and be willing to move where, you know, whatever. Because I feel like it's that important. Okay, I feel like when you look in the Bible, it's that important. Like, you know what I'm saying? You read Genesis, you see why he put the woman here, you know, as a helpmeet to the man. You know what I'm saying? You of course you want to have kids, you know, and like I said, at that time I was like 27, and when I initially got fed up with my situation, and I was horrible at relationships. I was a disaster. You know what I'm saying? And I got fed up with it and declared war on it. And, you know, here I am, I don't know how many years later now, like 17 years later, you know, and I got the full handful now, wife, kids, all that. But I'm content, you know, but it didn't just happen. It was fought for. It was worked hard for, you know. So let me see what y'all wrote, because I've been running my mouth. So let's see what all y'all wrote here. Hold on. Whoops. All right. So title of being a virgin can only write so much in chat. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about men gotta change that mindset, because women try to be what they think men want a lot of times. D-Brew, tell me what you mean by that, because I've been talking. I might have missed Lex True. Like if all men was like, I'm looking for the woman with the baddest head wrap, then every woman start wearing head wrap. Men gotta set a standard of order. Yeah, and the word is the standard. You know what I'm saying? LOL, just an example. And like you said, the word is the standard. That's the standard. But what were you saying, Coy?
And I think it's important for women, just kind of touching on D Hoodie's, comment. It's important for women to have a purpose or to know Yah before you pursue a mate.
Well,
if you had, like, in my Keisha's situation, if she's, claiming to know Yah,
yeah, she's already
continue to seek your purpose, continue to seek and pray for His will in your life, and He will direct and guide you, by knowing what to look for in a mate, and knowing the word also that's the guide, knowing what to look for in a potential mate.
And I would say this: I feel like from what I've heard. From what I've heard and what I've seen with a lot of Hebrew Israelites who are single and looking for people, they know the word. Hold on. They know the word, but again, it's application. It doesn't occur to them that, hey, I could move somewhere, or hey, I could go to this Hebrew Israelite event that they're having. Like I know in New York, they just had a big one where Tony Sotomayor got punched in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? But begin really bringing this thing into reality and doing what you can to meet or, to be around these people. And then meeting them. I'm not saying go to the event. Does anybody want me? And posting on Facebook, does anybody want me? That's not how it works.
Be so fulfilled in your relationship with the Most High that's not your number one priority is finding a man.
No.
Because a woman shouldn't be looking for a man. The Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor. And
but I'm not talking about going out looking for somebody. I'm saying putting yourself in a position to be found. It's just like me.
Do the work. Do what you're called to do. And that man will come.
What I'm saying is, like, for me, when I was looking for a woman, I put myself out there. I was so busy. I was out among people. I was doing things that the woman came into my life.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, if you're going to the events, if you're getting involved in Hebrew Israelite communities, you're putting yourself out there. It all works. It's not like it's very practical and it all works together. You see what I'm saying? So in building relationships, putting yourself out there as far as, and when I say putting yourself out there and how to make yourself visible, because I was just talking to somebody else recently about how, look, you want to talk to some, you want to get in a relationship, this is a man, you want to get in a relationship with this one, with women and stuff like that, they got to know you there, If they don't know you exist, how they gonna come holler at you? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
What? You see how simple what I'm saying is? You got your mind right. You're an attractive looking woman, or if you're a man, you're a handsome looking man or whatever. So you got everything. The reason you ain't meet nobody is because let somebody know you're there, and then you're gonna meet them. But if somebody doesn't know of you, then like I gave the analogy about living on a rural farm or living in New York City or something like that. I'm not saying you have to move to New York City, but I'm saying let people know you're there. Now, how do you do that? How do you let people know you there? I think that's what Coy was trying to say in that, hey, if you begin marketing, you know, your hair care product or whatever Makisha does or whatever, like for me, now I was out in the world, so, you know, you ain't gonna do this, but what I did, I moved to Jacksonville. I was networking. I became a DJ. So I put together a lifestyle where everybody saw me. Right. And I didn't have to go try to hunt nobody down. They would come to me. Right. They say, hey, how you doing? Right. You know? So say you, whatever you're into, say you're into earrings or something. Boom, 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 boom. You always talking about earrings or whatever. And some dude be like, Bookatoo, Hebrew, you know, or some junk like that on the internet, and you in there, you know. But it's marketing. That's why they charge more money if you want to get a store on a corner. You know what I'm saying? In a busy, high traffic area. If you want to get a store in a high traffic area, you're going to get more business. Because why? Because everybody knows you're there. Right. If I built a store in my backyard back here, and then I'm sitting, man, nobody comes and buys my widgets, you know. But I could build a store on a busiest intersection in the St. John's Town Center selling rubber poop, and I would make some sales. Or I could be selling gold back here in my backyard, and nobody would come by. But let me read what y'all wrote.
And then also, you know, when we met, you know, we was sort of Christian or whatever, because I was still attending a church, where, you know, the pastor, he was married. You know, he had a great marriage, and you know, I saw that model for myself. And when I got to, you know, where I felt like, okay, I was ready, you know, to be found, you know, I was, you know, for the most part, I knew who I was. I had a career. I had my mind right. And I had a lot of things well put together. And so it was kind of easy for me and my husband to just kind of meet and just hit it off. You know, even though we wasn't in the Hebrew Israelite truth, we were still both ready, and our hearts were ready, our minds were ready. It wasn't just something that, okay, well, you know, I guess I'll, you know, see what this is all about. No, I knew that I wanted to be married. You know, I was, 30? So, yeah, definitely. It wasn't something that I was just out seeking, but in my mind and in my heart, I knew that if that opportunity should present itself, that I was ready.
Okay.
I just told my age.
But yeah, but yeah, you know, majority of the time when I see, people who are single, a lot of the times it's just more of a nobody location thing being discovered. Like nobody, you know, you could send a geek down to Miami and he gonna meet somebody. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times it's a thing like that. And I guess y'all talking about Tommy Sotomayor. My thing, you know, of course, Tommy Sotomayor ain't in the truth or anything like that. But my big thing with him, he did open my eyes to something I did not know. You know what I'm saying? I've said that before. Like, I did not know that sisters was that off. I was under the idea that only like that the black men were just totally jacked up. But then, you know, he putting on videos, women putting babies in ovens and all types of crazy stuff in between. And it just showed me, okay, so this is where the curses is hitting our sisters.
Yeah.
But as far as sitting there watching them all the time and following them and this, that, and the other, nah, he at best, he brings out half truths. Because he got his feelings hurt by a sister. So a lot of what he's doing is because, you know, he's angry. And I have a problem with people who are putting this information out, but they're not providing solutions. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Baby, can you turn this light on here? Because it's starting to get dark. Yeah. But, yeah. And then, and yeah, Makisha, I'm not, trust me, what you ask, like, as far as relationships and being single and Hebrew Israelite, you talked about it earlier this week, but some other people have been asking about it also. So that's why I'm drilling in on that particular topic, because the easiest thing to do is meet somebody. You know what I'm saying? The work comes in over the years, like that slide I showed where, you know, is building with them, because, you know, that relationship, just the way Yah has things set up, it purifies you. It shows you your flaws. It gets you even more refined in Yah's word. Because I'll be honest, man, when I met my wife, I thought I was actually a pretty well-rounded good person with not too many flaws, but we both find flaws. Like, we found something through this, because this move we did was high pressure, you know.
It was just us.
Yeah, and it was just us, so it was a lot of pressure on us and teamwork, but we saw some flaws in each other, and we prayed them out and got through it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a constant thing. A lot, again, like that whole Disney World mindset, man. You think, okay, we're gonna get married, and then we're gonna ride off into the sunset on horses, and they live happily ever after. Nope. You know what I'm saying? The work just started. You just got on shift. Yep. So. Madison? Yes. Quiet down a little bit.
Yes, sir. That's Sammy.
Oh, okay.
Sammy made that.
Alright, so. Let me see. Okay, total. Alright, so. But yeah, oh yeah, something I wanted to talk about is, you guys can let me know. I was thinking about doing on Christmas, the 25th, which is Monday, doing a tech lesson on upcoming technologies. If enough folks are interested in tuning in, and then I'm gonna see if I could maybe set it up to where we got a chat, like maybe Google Hangouts or a group thing, you know, so everybody could talk, and it's not, because there's a delay when people type on here. But yeah, I was thinking about doing that. If any of y'all are interested, if enough people are interested, I'll do it. If not, I'll just do that tech thing another time. But yeah, that's what I was thinking about. But yeah, so does anybody else have any questions? And if they don't, I will be wrapping this up, but I'm gonna just wait because I know there's a delay. And also, if y'all could let me know if the feed, you know, if the video got glitchy at points, because I got a new connection, so just trying to make sure it's working correctly. All right. Well, if no one else has anything, I'm gonna go ahead and conclude this. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Sometimes. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna sign off. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. You know, if you got any other questions, just comment or, you know, send me something on Facebook. And with that said, Shabbat Shalom, and have a nice rest of your Sabbath, because I see the sun is going down. So have a nice day.